Do you know what you can do to prevent yourself from getting nosed out of your bid on the property that you want? Stay tuned. We're going to talk about it in just a moment. We are so excited about sharing 5 strategies for you to win the bid or greatly increase the likelihood of winning the bid on the house that you love. We find that a lot of people think that they've got all they have to do is have the highest offer.
Yeah, not true.
No,
Not true.
So there are definitely a sizable number of highest bidders that don't win the bid for a variety of other reasons. One thing that's better than money is easy money. So the easier you can make it for the seller,
Absolutely.
the more likely it is that you're going to win the bid.
Cash removes that contingency that the seller would have out there that the property needs to appraise, that you need to actually get qualified from the bank and get everything together. So there's a whole bunch of things that cash itself just removes from the table for the sellers and assures that that process is going to move forward.
Fantastic. Now, at the same time, a lot of people are wondering how they can ensure that they're at least making a competitive bid.
Sure.
And there's something called an escalation clause. Can you talk about that?
Absolutely. Escalation clauses, we're seeing a lot of them, and they're actually pretty commonplace right now.
Mm-hmm.
What an escalation clause does is it allows the buyer to put in a starting point and then escalate their offer up or increase their offer as other offers come in up to a maximum or a cap that they're willing to spend. We often recommend that the cap be something where that buyer would say, look, if somebody else buys it for $5,000 more.
You want to go in there with a really clear idea of what your cap is, right? Don't walk in and let your emotions take you higher than you're comfortable being.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good time to reflect back on how much that property actually means to them and what value they might get out of it.
All right, so number 1, cash is king. Number 2, deposit. What about the deposit that you put down?
Deposits. So the deposit is that amount of money that you're putting on the table for the sellers to know that confidently you're going to move forward. And you want to make it enough so that the sellers feel comfortable and that it would hurt if you decided to pull out of that contract. You want to make it enough where the seller knows that you're going to move forward. You're going to get, when they hook their cart to you, you're going to get them to the train station and have them sell their house.
That's why we call this earnest money, because it shows that you're being earnest in your desire to get that property. And I think that's an important piece of the puzzle. Number 3, a pre-approval letter. How important is that?
It's having a pre-approval letter, and having a pre-approval letter from a local lender is vitally important. Mm-hmm. Oftentimes that agent that you're working with, or the seller's agent, the agent's representing that seller, if they know who the lender is, that can add a lot of confidence to them while they're presenting your offer to their client. So I highly recommend that you meet with a local lender, whether it's a credit union, a bank, or a mortgage broker. Mm-hmm. Having that local connection can make a big difference.
Also makes the whole transaction easier down the road.
For sure, absolutely.
Okay. Number 4, contingencies. There are a number of contingencies that you might be able to waive if you've prepared yourself properly.
Sure, from property inspections to water inspections to radon inspections. The least amount of those you have that put steps or blocks in the way of the whole path moving forward, mm-hmm. the more confident that seller is that they're actually going to sell their house to you.
And if it turns out that you're going to have to waive an inspection contingency, maybe it'll put you at ease to just bring a few knowledgeable friends with you to the showing, and within the time frame allowed for the showing, let them look at it with a wiser eye, not with tools, not to break through the walls and see what's behind them, but to at least make you feel more confident about the decision. So think about that as well.
For sure.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
And then number 5 is be positive. Be positive. Come into the place with a positive attitude. Don't be whiny. Don't be complaining, because the walls have ears, and especially nowadays. Right?
Oh, for sure. I'm telling all of my clients, the only thing that you should be sharing in that seller's house is anything that you would share directly with the seller. And if you're one of those people that's a little bit more confident with themselves, only share positive things when you're walking through that house.
Yeah, because there may be a nanny cam or any number of...
Alexa's out there, Google's got Google Home, and there's just too many things.
Let's talk about what not to do. Find a lot of the articles, maybe all the articles, are going to suggest that you write a letter to the seller and tell them all about you and why you're the person for their house. And you can see Rich nodding his head right now, because why?
Fair housing.
And just to tease that out for those of you who are unfamiliar with fair housing, it's basically the laws and the series of laws that are designed to make sure that anyone has equal access to the possibility of buying a property, regardless of gender or sexual orientation or race. Now, having said all that, there is still something that you can do in order to raise the likelihood of creating a positive relationship between you and the seller. You want to say a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So what I've been talking to my clients about doing is drafting a letter. They'd email it to me, but I would share it with the seller's agent, not talking about anything that has to do with them, but all about the condition of the house that we saw. So we can say how nice it was, how well organized it was, how clean it was, how much you can clearly tell that they've cared for the property during the time that they've owned it, how much how much you appreciated them for doing that. And we normally end it at that, but there's, can be a couple nice paragraphs so that we can directly share with the sellers how much we've appreciated the condition of their property and how well they've taken care of it over the years.
And you know what? Gratitude is a really powerful thing. It's a natural human emotion, and we love expressing it, and we love receiving it. So those are 5 things that you can do, and you can take those actions the very next time that you're ready to have a showing and see a property. So again, just to review those, number 1, cash if possible. Number 2, as high as you can go on earnest money. Make a deposit that makes a statement. Number 3, pre-approval, very, very important. Number 4, try to minimize your contingencies and do what you can to mitigate the risk by having knowledgeable people with you when you look at a property. Number 5 is to be positive, to just bring a positive vibe and energy to the experience. Stay away from those letters that identify who you are and why they should sell the house to you, but write them a nice letter about how beautiful their home is. Put that good energy out, and good energy will come back.
Great summary.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next time. Thanks, Rich.
Thanks, Steve.